let's go inside the vehicle assembly building and get a feel for what they are doing inside there tonight. So how tall is the vehicle assembly building? About 530 feet tall. Wow.
So this is the building where we stacked the Artemis 1 moon rocket and where we'll stack the coming Artemis missions. But this is also the building where all the Saturn V's for the Apollo program and all 135 space shuttles were stacked in here. So some people refer to this building as the Space Cathedral because there's a lot of history in here. As we're making our way down the building, I'll try to point out some of the original components that were used for Apollo. This is kind of their testing and checkout cells, right? So before you stack all the pieces on top of each other, you want to make sure that they're all going to fit together and they're all ready for launch. You can kind of think of the rockets we bring in here as a kind of highly explosive set of Lego, right? We're kind of all roads lead to Kennedy Space Center, and here at the Vehicle Assembly Building, we get all the pieces and parts of the rockets.
During the Artemis 1 launch,
Yes.
they rolled back for hurricanes. What are hurricanes like inside this building?
Yes, so this is Florida, so it's an occurrence that, we're prepared for. So essentially, all the doors, I mean, they're mostly closed right now, but they kind of, close up the building nice and snug. And yeah, this building is prepared to take on hurricanes. So
you want to survive an hurricane?
Yes, and the building next door, the Launch Control Center, that's the place you want to be. So when we have hurricanes here, there's a whole team that rides them out. And so they get to sleep and have a sleepover in the Launch Control Center, making sure that the center is all safe and sound. But what happens is the crawler transporter rolls under here at its top speed of about 1 mile per hour. The platform, you can kind of see it sitting on yellow jacks right now. So the crawler comes up under there, raises up, that gray platform sits on it, and then rolls to the launch pad.
This day is insane. This is by far insane.
Just to give you an idea of how tall.
We just took the elevator up to the 16th floor.
So here's 2 of our high bays. This one right across from us was used for space shuttle. So you can see the orange platforms in there and the gray. We can't see it, but in this gray box over here, that's where the access point into the shuttle was. So if they needed to, put payloads in there or put people in there to get everything configured for the astronauts, that was kind of their access point for shuttle. And you can kind of see the big doors a little better. On the bottom level, it's kind of like big barn doors that open up horizontally. And then this way, they open up vertically. It takes about 45 minutes to get the doors all the way opened up. But you can kind of see where the space shuttle maxed out on this side. So they didn't need to open all those vertical doors to get the shuttle out. But for Artemis and Apollo, they do have to open those doors all the way up because they're so much taller than the space shuttle was.
The vehicle assembly building is not the place to work if you don't like heights. It is the tallest single-story building by volume. And it just seems to go forever.
Right here, actually hooked up to the crane right now. The boosters are 5 segments tall. For Space Shuttle, they were 4 of these segments. So this is the bottom segment. And actually, the entire weight of the rocket is stacked on these solid rocket boosters. So they're the first part of the rocket that gets stacked before they put the big orange core stage in between them. And you can kind of see in there, some of the platforms are extended in the high bay. So those platforms go in and out. Imagine giant hydraulic kitchen drawers. That's essentially what those platforms are. And those are the access points for the workers to get to the rocket. And they come to us via rail from Utah. Then they wheel them over here into this. The crane team gets all ready to go, and then up right where we were standing and over and down into High Bay 3. Yeah, so full scale of 1/5 of one of the boosters. And so you got 2 of those, plus the core stage, plus the upper stage. So it's hard to visualize it, but it's a pretty big rocket.
We haven't even reached lunchtime yet on Friday, and already the first big surprise inside the vehicle assembly building waiting for us, the director of the Kennedy Space Center.
Anyways, I'm super excited to have you guys out here today.
You're the first woman to hold this position, and we're getting ready to send the first woman to the moon.
Absolutely.
What does all of that mean to you?
We had our first Artemis 1 mission, as you said, at the end, capstone of our 60th anniversary. It was a big anniversary present for us. But Yeah, first woman and first person of color on the surface of the moon, lunar. I have my personal favorite that I picked out in the astronaut that I want to go, but who knows? I'll be making an announcement for the crewed flight of Artemis 2 sometime this year, soon, sometime this year. But then, of course, Artemis 3 is when the crew will actually be descending down to the surface of the moon. So that'll be the really exciting.
right now?
And then, of course, Artemis 3 will be bringing up our astronauts in Orion, matching up and bringing them down. 2025 is when we're shooting for. But there is some complexities and some dependencies there. So we'll see.
There are a lot of cool things at NASA. I think the VAB might be one of my favorite because it is the persistent home of historic missions to the moon and eventually to beyond. This is the one that has been here through. So yes, she did in fact say that they were targeting Artemis 2 for 2025. You don't need to check your watch. It is 2026 because we shot that video about 3 years ago to date. In February of 2023, I went down to Kennedy Space Center by invite of NASA and shot video on location and beamed it back to our chief CWG New Jersey correspondent, Peter, who were making date turn edits because then we started playing all of this video back live on location for the launch of Crew 6, right? It was 6? Yes. NASA Crew 6. So I just did a headline about Crew 11 and 12, but it was a whopping 3 years ago that we were down there covering Crew 6. So pretty crazy stuff. I had the QR code on the screen if you want to check out the rest of what we did, including going onto the crawler that carries SLS back and forth between the VAB and the launch pad. We got to go up there. It's from, as you heard, the Apollo era. It's really, really cool. QR code's on the screen right now if you want to go check out episode 445, which is a deep cut at this point. So